What if I told you the future of foldable phones has just been transformed? The one thing that has held foldables back for years, the crease, is reportedly on the verge of disappearing. And at the center of this revolution is Samsung's next-generation foldable flagship, the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 8. The Galaxy Z Fold 7 already felt like the peak of current folding technology. It was incredibly thin, surprisingly light, and one of the most durable foldable phones Samsung has ever made. Many people looked at the Z Fold 7 and thought, where can they even go from here? Well, according to a wave of new leaks and reports, Samsung is not just planning a small upgrade. We're talking about at least 7 major changes for the Galaxy Z Fold 8, changes so big they could push the entire foldable phone market into a new era. From a new material strategy and a possible 5000 mAh battery to a redesigned Hinge, a truly crease-free display, and the long-awaited return of the S Pen, the Galaxy Z Fold 8 is shaping up to be the most important Samsung foldable yet. Before we dive into the wild future with the Z Tri-Fold, let's break down exactly what's coming to the Z Fold 8 and why Samsung is going this hard right now. First, let's talk materials because this is where Samsung is making a move that, on the surface, looks like a downgrade but might actually be the smartest decision yet. The Galaxy Z Fold 7 used titanium, and it felt rock solid. That titanium frame gave the phone fantastic rigidity and played a huge role in its premium, durable feel. Durability tests showed the Z Fold 7 held up incredibly well. So why in the world would Samsung even think about moving away from such a strong, premium material for the Galaxy Z Fold 8? A new report coming out of South Korea claims that Samsung is planning to switch from titanium to carbon fiber for the Z Fold 8's back plate. At first, that sounds like a step backwards, but there are 2 huge reasons behind this move, and the second one in particular is a game changer. Reason number 1, supply and geopolitics. Right now, China is the world's dominant supplier of titanium. With ongoing trade tensions between the US and China and increasing scrutiny on critical materials, securing a stable, affordable, long-term titanium supply is getting more complicated. For a niche product, that might be manageable. But for a global flagship like the Galaxy Z Fold 8, Samsung needs predictability. Carbon fiber helps reduce their dependence on a politically sensitive supply chain. Reason number 2, the S Pen. Titanium and stainless steel are amazing for strength, but they're not always ideal when you're trying to integrate advanced S Pen input technology behind flexible displays. Carbon fiber, on the other hand, is a material Samsung has successfully used on previous Fold models that supported S Pen functionality. It's lightweight, incredibly strong, and more flexible to work around the layers needed for stylus support. So when you hear Galaxy Z Fold 8 and carbon fiber backplate in the same sentence, you shouldn't just think durability. You should be thinking S Pen. Does this automatically confirm that the S Pen is coming back to the Galaxy Z Fold 8? Not officially, but the signs are clearly stacking up. The biggest reason the S Pen was missing from the Z Fold 7 came down to one crucial component, the digitizer layer. Samsung removed that digitizer to keep the Z Fold 7 as thin and light as possible. In testing and feedback, users overwhelmingly preferred a thinner foldable over a slightly thicker one with pen support. For that generation, Samsung chose slimness over stylus. But Samsung executives have said multiple times that they're aggressively developing new miniaturized S Pen tech, and that they want to bring the pen back to the Fold line once the technology is ready and once they're sure enough people want it. Last year, we heard rumors that Samsung was working with a company called Hinge, or Hi-Deep, on a completely new type of S Pen that could work without a traditional digitizer layer, and possibly without even needing a separate battery inside the pen. It just wasn't ready in time for the Z Fold 7 launch. Now put all of this together. A switch to carbon fiber, a material historically friendlier to S Pen support on foldables. Ongoing R&D into digitizer-free or ultra-thin digitizer technology. A clear, vocal interest from power users who want the Fold to be a true productivity machine. Suddenly, the idea of S Pen support returning on the Galaxy Z Fold 8 doesn't just sound possible, it sounds likely. If Samsung pulls this off, the Z Fold 8 becomes not just a foldable phone but a serious notebook replacement and productivity beast. Let's move to the second major upgrade, the Hinge and the Crease. Samsung is reportedly overhauling the Z Fold 8's hinge with one huge objective: a truly crease-less foldable display. The Galaxy Z Fold 7 already pushed crease reduction further than previous generations. The crease was shallower, less visible in normal lighting, and less noticeable to the touch. But if we're honest, it was still there. And this is not just a Samsung problem. Almost every modern foldable phone has some kind of crease where the display folds. For some users, that crease is the one thing that keeps foldables from feeling like real premium phones, and Samsung knows it. That's why a key Samsung supplier, Fine Technics, often shortened as Finetech, is reportedly investing a massive 17.5 billion Korean won into a complete redesign of the metal plate and hinge system used in next-gen foldable phones. They're shifting from traditional hinge plate designs to advanced laser-drilled metal plates specifically optimized for ultra-thin, crease-free foldable OLED displays. This is not just an expensive flex. There's a very real, very strategic reason behind it: Apple. Samsung is already supplying foldable displays for Apple's future foldable projects. And if there's one thing Apple is going to demand for a foldable iPhone or foldable iPad, it's a perfectly smooth, flawless screen. No visible crease, no ugly line down the middle, nothing that makes the display feel compromised. Some Chinese brands have made impressive progress with softer creases, but many of those devices don't compete directly with the Galaxy Z Fold series in key markets like the US and Europe. Apple, however, absolutely will. If Apple launches a foldable iPhone in 2026 with an almost invisible or completely crease-free display, while Samsung's own Galaxy Z Fold 8 still shows a noticeable crease, that would be a huge blow to Samsung's reputation as the leader in foldable phone technology. So Samsung is racing to get ahead of that scenario. According to well-connected analyst Ming Kai Kuo and other insiders, the Galaxy Z Fold 8 is expected to use these new, more expensive laser-drilled metal plates in its hinge and display support structure. The result should be a display that folds and unfolds smoothly while significantly reducing or potentially eliminating the visible crease. If this technology works as reported, we could see both the Galaxy Z Fold 8 and Apple's first foldable device launch with genuinely crease-free displays. That would mark a defining moment in the history of foldable phones. Now let's talk durability, because when you start hearing words like carbon fiber, laser-drilled plates, and crease-free hinges, the next question is always, will it still be tough enough? The Galaxy Z Fold 7 was already a durability monster in the foldable world. One popular YouTuber managed to fold and unfold the Z Fold 7 over 200,000 times without any functional issues. A dedicated test lab went even further, pushing it to around 500,000 folds, and it still passed functional testing. To put that into everyday perspective, if you opened and closed your phone 100 times a day, 365 days a year, 500,000 folds would last you over 13 years. With the Galaxy Z Fold 8, Samsung isn't stepping back from that legacy. If anything, they're doubling down. The new hinge and plate system is designed not just for better cosmetics, but also for better stress distribution along the fold line. Combine that with improved ultra-thin glass and refined protective layers, and the Z Fold 8 could end up being both stronger and smoother than any foldable Samsung has shipped so far. Next up, display quality and brightness. On top of the mechanical improvements, the Galaxy Z Fold 8 display itself is expected to take a massive leap forward. The upcoming Galaxy S26 Ultra is rumored to get a next-generation OLED panel with extreme peak brightness, and leaks suggest the Z Fold 8 will inherit similar performance. Right now, early reports are pointing to the Galaxy Z Fold 8 inner display reaching up to 6,000 nits of peak brightness. For context, that is an insane number for a smartphone screen, especially a foldable one. That kind of brightness would make HDR content look stunning, improve outdoor visibility even under harsh sunlight, and allow Samsung to push new levels of contrast and color volume.